I'm Dr. Matthew Sharps for The World of the Mind. This is a video series that deals with the mind and the brain and some of the really odd things that happen when the human mind and brain start interacting with the world. Now, if you're interacting with the world, you're probably having a fairly good time of it, but there's one of the things you really want to avoid, and that's serial killers. Okay, just not the serial killers in your future, it's not a good situation for you. Now, what are serial killers? What do they actually do? Well, they kill people, serial, obviously, but they have a lot of things that they do. Now, for one thing, they may keep bits and pieces of the people they've killed around. There's some of them, you think about Jeffrey Dahmer, would eat some of the bits. He kept some of his victims, I guess, in the fridge in case he felt a little need for a midnight snack or something. But these serial killers, they kill people. They're ritualistic about it. There's a sexual component, too. It's very difficult to really understand that, though, in serial killers who are dead and gone. It's very difficult to make sense out of them. But pretty obviously, for most of us, there's something very seriously wrong with the head of a serial killer. Okay, there's something just we don't know. Now, there's scholars of this, and some of my colleagues and friends are scholars of this. They disagree a bit about what exactly is going on in the head of the serial killer, and they should. There's a lot of interesting evidence that we need to understand. But they do keep killing people. They keep bits around, okay, and most of us, at least, I hope anyway, are agreed that serial killers are kind of a bummer, okay? You really don't want to meet them. There's something wrong with their minds. There's a mental illness there that goes way beyond the average person who commits homicide, okay? Well, that's true in our world, but, the world has changed, hasn't it? And when you read some of the great fat books we have of very ancient history, we can find quotes from ancient kings in various parts of the world, okay? Some of these kings will tell you very interesting things. One of the things we see is the king will have a wonderful time. Here he is in his city with all his corn coming in, his grain coming in, his people dancing for him, and so on and so forth. Have a wonderful time. But every summer he goes out and tries to murder the neighbors. He starts, killing the city next door, okay? And sometimes he'd succeed. And we have accounts from these great kings, okay? Accounts saying things like, "It was a great slaughter I did there." Things like, "I made a pile of their heads." There's some wonderful ancient art, some of it in great museums around the world, like the British Museum. You've got the piles of human heads with accountants counting up the heads. They're very happy they've got all these heads. They preserve the heads. Every so often, was this one king was very happy that he caused a great slaughter among them, and then he skinned a big chunk of the population. You get the idea from the writing that they were skinned alive, but that's not entirely clear one way or the other. But the point is, then he takes the skins and may or may not have had them sewn together by the survivors, okay? And he has the skins thrown over the ruined walls of the cities just destroyed. And he says, "Behold, I have gilded the wall," as the human skins, right, begin to dry and turn a kind of terrible bronze color in the desert sun. Now, how do we know these kings did things like this? They put up signs, okay, and not like the billboards you find outside Vegas. I mean, they put up, they really wanted these signs to last. They built on stone things. "I was such and such, and I did such and such, and I killed them all. Behold, I gilded the wall." There's skins dripping away there in the horrible desert sun. And, well, interesting problem, isn't it? Because you see, these kings, now, did they have all the aspects of serial killers? Well, many of my colleagues would certainly say no. Okay, there's a lot of things we don't know about them. We certainly can't, interview some of these ancient kings and say, well, exactly what are your sexual proclivities? We can't do it. But we do know they killed a hell of a lot of people. They kept on doing it. And they kept pieces around. They kept the bits and pieces around, piles of heads, skins over the wall. And then we write a sign about it. Hooray for us. A lot of our modern, serial killers, people like Dahmer, people like John Wayne Gacy, people like the Iceman, all those questions about that one. They didn't put up a hell of a lot of signs. Nobody hires an advertising agency. "Hey, I'm a serial killer." Okay, that doesn't really happen, does it? But in the ancient world, they put up signs. Now, that gives us an interesting problem, wasn't it? Or excuse me, doesn't it? In the modern world, serial killer has got some serious mental problems. In the ancient world, aspects of that, not necessarily that condition, but that way of doing things, were more of a job description. You have to admit, as an ancient king, if you pretty much killed everybody, skinned them, and put the skins over the wall, people are going to pay their taxes, aren't they? But this does some strange things, doesn't it, to our concept that human beings are basically good in our modern sense. What does that mean exactly? What is a serial killer? What's happening there? And why did he put all those skins over the wall? These are questions we'll attempt to answer in our series, The World of the Mind. I do hope you'll have a look at some of our videos. I'm Dr. Matthew Sharps for The World of the Mind. I do hope you'll subscribe if you feel like it. And until next time.